The new smell though. It's so nice. Since we got stuck pretty much in the other one earlier for lunch.
These elevators were constant. Good job on that one.
Oh, they had like a huge cart in there, so
okay.
like they could squeeze in like barely.
Those elevators were a little jicky.
Yeah.
But this one's extremely slow. It just has to go up like 15 feet. That was actually faster today.
That wasn't too bad.
So when you step off, the ski room, this is the big ski room. So they don't have any chairs. They're doing like a party here on the.
This is where we could have.
Oh, if we'd had this room.
There's usually tables and chairs in here.
Yeah.
And we're going to get a divider.
To pull it in case.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know, I'm assuming it, I don't know if it's going to divide that way or this way.
Yeah.
Hot dog or hamburger?
I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know. If they divide this way,
It probably just depends on what else they leave in here and like what they want the structure of the split room to look like.
anyway, but this is a pretty big room, so.
Yeah.
No, wait, can we have a new, can we see the testing room?
Sweet.
Pretty much all that back over there, there's APS, there's 4 APS being inspected over there. I don't know if Dennis will use them or not, but, so this is.
Yeah. Gonna have to make a mental note of that one.
Come in, because it doesn't lead right to the ski lounge. So what they're gonna do is the students are gonna go, I'll show you where the students will go. They'll go into the doors. When they come in, they're gonna take them down that hallway and right into this room here. So, this is where the students will. Yeah, they'll actually, if they
Ooh,
film
nice.
the video
Yeah.
or something. But, no, the students won't.
Watch, okay.
Yeah.
That's really just gonna be for whatever they wanna show them, I don't know. So, as you can tell, it's still a work in progress, just a little bit. But the students will come in here, they'll gather, they'll get their pre-read, hang out, whatever. And then whenever it's, time for them to go line up, then they'll go out that door or they can go out this door here. And so the room numbers are a little different. They start at 1 on this end and go down, and the odd numbers are on this side.
Gotcha.
Oh,
The even
okay.
numbers are on the other side. That was whoever does the numbering of the rooms over at. They wouldn't let us number them how we wanted.
Didn't just go 1 to 6, 7 to 12. Yeah.
No, that's how we're doing it. So the students will enter here, obviously, and then the example is going to be there.
Wow.
So then
This feels more like a doctor.
these doors are pretty heavy.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
So they can't.
the little students are going to be like, but the hand sanitizer is right there. So
Yes, that's.
Oh yes.
they don't have to.
One on each side.
Yeah.
How about that?
Oh man.
No.
Oh yeah, because they're always like.
Oh yeah. That's soap. Oh no.
Right. So that'll be-
Cool.
And then they'll be right there, and they can just pull the chair up.
Attorney thing too, they don't have to wait.
Doesn't deter anything.
Oh,
No, I don't
really?
know.
Yeah.
And then
Nice.
the head wall, it's going to be over there. So it's a little. We're going to hide the hand sanitizer on the little wires. That's kind of.
And the lights are on and off.
Now these lights,
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, you said you could dim them.
you can just dim them.
Nice.
And they can look into, and they don't have to turn them all the way off.
Yeah, sometimes they'll turn off.
And then
the
they'll
lights
fumble around waiting for the
Yeah, and they're
other
like,
light to turn on.
Oh, where's
Yeah.
your?
just turn it.
Or try to use that one.
And then they can just,
Our expensive lights.
This feels like a doctor's.
Yeah.
office.
Yeah.
and then the computers are good, so since the rooms are a little smaller,
Mm,
they're not quite as spacious, there's not a desk
yeah.
top for the computer, so it'll be, you guys can either, it'll be, pull it down, you can either sit in the chair, or you can just stand and type, however you wanna do it.
Yeah.
Just, it's up to you, however you wanna do it.
So,
And then you guys
I'm
will,
really curious to see the
Yeah.
exit and,
you guys.
I love just even the flooring for it. It's just a nice solid color now. Won't be able to count the tiles as easily, but you know.
No,
No big deal.
Yes.
Oh, you're right, those do have a bit of weight to them.
aw,
So, yeah, they do have. So all the exam rooms, except
Yeah.
probably this one.
Good touch. Good touch.
Pretty good. There's one that has, some of the rooms are a little bit bigger than the others, I think.
yeah, that one's bigger.
Like it feels a little more spacious than
That's
some
cool.
of them,
Yeah, it does a little.
but, yeah, just kind of depends.
Yeah, 'cause the desk
They
is.
didn't make them,
Yeah.
all rooms aren't made equal.
Not all rooms are
Oh,
created
no.
equal.
We're not that
All
one.
rooms aren't made equal. And there's one, I can't remember which one.
Still
it is.
progressive society.
Was it that one that we were in? Maybe it was that first one. I can't remember. Maybe that's why this one felt smaller.
Oh, was that one just smaller?
Oh, there's one, I don't know which one it is. It has a support beam on the wall.
Oh,
And
okay.
it comes out a little bit, and it makes room in the smaller.
Ears.
Ah.
I don't know which one it is.
Is this one? Oh, yeah. That one's a bit different.
Takes a little bit away, but. Oh, yeah, holes.
Yeah.
Holes will-
No artwork on the walls either.
The what now?
No artwork on the walls.
Yeah.
There will be though.
Oh, yeah, the
There's
all
always
the
time to
pictures.
add a picture of the
But you
female
don't have to worry
reproductive
about
system. Always.
ultrasound machines being in the middle of the hall.
Yeah.
So,
That is true.
they're not gonna be stored over here.
Oh, yeah.
I'll show you all the storeroom that we got. That thing is massive. But, this is the SP Lounge.
Oh, nice.
It's nice.
Oh,
So
lockers.
bright. Yeah.
Lockers.
Ooh.
Is that one?
Wow.
That looks like a haircutting
I know,
station.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, I was
perfect.
gonna say, that's
Nice.
I think that was the first thing you guys saw.
Yeah.
This is perfect.
I'll just shut up shop right here.
Yes, I can get
Nice.
Yes, I'd like a lighter.
This is your world right here.
I can do both jobs at one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Tammy,
Can I have my
Amazing.
client come up here and look?
This got the second floor is.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Nancy Lounge.
We have multiple tables, Brandon. More than one.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Over to Peter's.
Awesome.
So I guess this is like our goulash
Yes.
area.
It will
Yeah.
be if needed, but we're not.
Oh
gonna-
my god.
But he's gonna move this chair over to where he does most of the work. But it's-
Thanks to the windows, it's a lot more light and airy.
in fact, he'll probably put a few things in here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Someone.
There's
Oh
that
no,
one.
it is. It is. Oh no. And that goes too.
Oh,
When
nice.
I'm-
I thought we had it in there.
Oh, no, and
I don't know.
No, I think that was across the...
Yeah. Well, but you have a nice window to look out.
Yeah, that's true.
It's gonna distract
As opposed to, nothing.
But
from the noise.
nobody can see in, so.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
said they were gonna frost it, but I was like,
No, if no one can see in.
Yeah.
Nobody can see in.
it'd have to be
Really?
really tall.
Very, very
So
tall.
dressing.
And that's the dressing room slash
Oh,
living
wow.
closet.
I'm very stoked about the multiple tables thing.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
And then there's also gonna be
I
like
love
a-
this. It's even got the pump.
I know.
that thing.
They really thought of you when
I may
designing
have to
that.
make some changes, but this will work.
Yes.
Yeah.
These used to be in the exam rooms.
Oh.
These things are
Those are huge.
No way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are these the trash cans?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
They're
I
nice.
don't know.
Ooh, I love the double up.
Inside those rooms.
But
Yeah.
all they ever use the trash can for is like paper
little-
and like an ear
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Right.
Glove.
Forget
So they
to use
moved-
the hand
they-
sanitizer, they have to use
They
the-
took the ones that were here and they put them over in the acute care
Yeah.
areas since those rooms are a little bigger.
Cool.
But this, I like this one. It's pretty spacious, and we'll get a
Yeah.
refrigerator.
Yeah.
And,
Well, it'll be
but I
nice.
like it.
Microwave.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's
windows.
drinking water right here.
Yes, it's going to be hooked up to a Yes.
That's nice. So
And
you
then
don't
they're
have to
also
change
going to
them.
have,
Yeah.
what Daniel said is they're also going to hook this up to a bottleless water cooler.
Okay, cool.
Oh, nice.
That'd be
So,
good.
but he thinks the tank might not be
Um,
check, like the biggest in the world. So
Right.
if we have like, 12 SPs or 13 or 14, he said it might kind of run out.
Run
if
through it,
everybody
yeah.
gets water all at the same time.
Yeah.
But
For doing a 12-man bladder ultrasound, it's gone.
Kind of cool, they're a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of neat.
There's
They're new.
little hooks so I can put our jackets on.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Just check, it's not backpack.
No. No.
They put those around the sim center for students to put backpacks on.
And they pull off the walls.
Well, I told them, I was like, have y'all felt these kids' backpacks?
I was about to say, these are med
Yeah.
students' backpacks.
They were
They're gonna be
like-
heavy.
Oh, yeah. I was like, you put like 3 on there and they just have them screwed into the wall.
Oh, the drywall's gonna rip out of
Oh
there.
yeah. Yeah, you don't have to be an expert in weight to figure that one out.
It will,
Jackets. We need to put a little label on their jackets.
yank them right down.
Mm-hmm.
So, they're, they decided that they probably won't do that.
They're all taking
But
pictures.
there's,
on-
yeah.
That's cute. All the students, they're taking pictures on in front of the building. Cool.
Don't
Where's
ask
your
them what
office?
the artwork is out there.
No. What is it?
Dandelion or something, I don't know.
Just said, don't ask.
Oh,
Don't
sorry.
ask.
What is it?
What is it?
Where's your office at?
Well,
Well,
so,
Do you really
Yeah,
not?
these are heat lockers.
You're gonna be
so
here
actually
with us?
fit stuff.
so I'll be,
Every Tuesday I'll
well,
be here.
Dan, I think what's gonna happen is Daniel's not really going to be over here.
Yeah.
He can do everything from his office, so
Yeah.
I will probably be.
I'm gonna take one for Parsons.
Yeah.
in his office here.
I'll send you the video of all this too if you want.
Oh, that's cool.
That's cool.
I picked a good time to start vlogging for my YouTube channel.
That's really cool.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
And that's the monitor setup I want in my room.
Never.
Right there.
Nice.
Yeah, the monitor's in there.
That's how I would have them set up.
Originally, I was gonna have like a desk in here, and they were like, I don't know, they're not. I think they're gonna put the computer for you guys to.
Oh, yeah, do we sign in? Where do we sign in?
Oh yeah, kind of important.
There'll probably be a, one of those Ergoton things right there. And then, of course, it'll be just like the other ones. There's data port down there too, so I don't know, we may have a computer over there as well. But, I don't really know. And then if it's, really bright, it's got the blinds and all that, yeah.
You're very excited about just this in particular. I can
I'll
tell.
make an appointment.
I'm making it
Oh
important.
man.
The students will
Okay,
sit out there and,
That's cool.
I like them
I have to
good,
take a picture of that and show my husband.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, look, he
def-
put a hair salon
Yeah.
in my work so I can work from there.
Yeah.
So that's the sensor. I'll show you. I'll show you all the other. All that. This side over here is where the APS
Oh,
room is.
there's a lady.
Oh, and this is like a faculty observation room type thing, and students can actually come in here and do it. It's like a computer lab type thing.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Oh yeah.
Come here and do whatever. So that's a lot of computers. Daniel was not excited
A lot of
Yeah.
He was
about
like, oh
the
my
setup of
God.
it because they're kind of a pain to get to.
Yeah.
My aunt had some like these in her class, and I had to hook about 4 of them up in an
Oh, I
hour.
see.
That was fun.
Yeah.
You
Had a lot of fun doing that.
But he was a little bit like,
That's gonna be one way to spend an afternoon for him, I guess.
And then
No,
conference room.
Yeah.
This whole side here is just APS rooms. if we have something that's testing in an APS room and they don't want to use more than 4, then we come over here and do that. Storeroom, and it's just APS room. There's nothing around that corner, it's just a little.
This is nice.
This is the,
Oh yeah, here we go.
Wants to have extra hospital.
This feels about what?
Extra beds.
Twice the size at least of the one we got now.
And it's also
Yeah.
training.
Organized.
That's so cool.
So you can like,
Okay, that's cool.
yeah. I told them, I said, oh my God.
Where's that for every library ever?
Yes.
Ever.
Yes.
Stars.
Take
You
notes.
could do that
Somebody
with the
was
shelves
like-
up and down.
Oh man. Then you wouldn't have to worry about people falling off ladders and stuff.
If you didn't
I
have
don't, I don't get it. And of course, me and Peter, we were just like, really? Really? Like, my gosh, you've never seen Star Wars? Like, what, does your dad not watch Star Wars? Come on now. So,
How's it going, everybody? It seems there's like a party or something going on down there. There's a bunch of cars, which is weird because that house doesn't like have college kids or high school kids or anything. So I don't know what they're having a party for because it's not even close to 4th of July. It is currently the 10th of June. And as you can see, the weather's very nice outside. You'd be very much fooled if you thought it was earlier in the afternoon because it's actually 7:24. And I'm on my way to go bowling. So might show at the very least my scores and how I did where we went, so you get to hear all the nice, colorful, cheerful music. But I will warn you, I'm not that great. I'm one of the better players in like my circle of friends, but I still like, last time I played I did really well for me and I was still hitting like only 130, 140, like in that range. So if you're a professional, you don't consider that good at all. But I'm guessing by most people's standards, anything over 100 is probably pretty decent. So maybe you consider that good, I don't know. I don't actually have those scores anymore, so actually I might have them on my phone, so maybe I can substantiate that claim with some physical evidence that it was actually me. Either way, I had my first day of my Spanish class today, which, again, I've talked about it last time. I've had Spanish on and off since about grade 3, and it was a very interesting experience, to say the least. I do like my professor. He's very energetic, and I think that's good for a lot of people. Maybe not necessarily me. I'm more of a traditional style. And just like a lot of kids don't learn well with traditional. I'm fully aware of that, but I did learn well with traditional. You know, I'm very much prefer like the old school ways of teaching math and whatnot. So where you show up, you take notes on the lecture, you study over those notes, you do the homework, you bring the homework back, you might discuss the homework a little bit, and just repeat that over and over throughout the year. But it's not quite the same thing with this one, so it will be very interesting. There's not going to be a lot of talking in English. There's like little snippets where you are allowed to talk in English and kind of, you know, like discuss what you conjugate and what you say and why you say it and all that type of thing. But predominantly the class is entirely in Spanish. She speaks to us in Spanish about 80% of the time. And some people in that class have not been exposed to Spanish hardly at all, so I'm sure they're floundering far worse than I am, but it's only for a couple weeks, and then I'll move on to the intermediate Spanish, have that for a couple weeks, and at that point we'll be in the fall semester. That's really nice. You don't have to go that slow to get across that lane. But thank you anyway. But yeah, it'll be interesting to say the least. Some people need to get their books in, but I think what's most interesting of all about it is the penalty for speaking in English when instructed to only speak in Spanish. He'll actually have said student get up and dance part of the Macarena, you know, like the 90s song, the Macarena. It was like the one thing the 90s, well, not the one thing, but one of the big things from the 90s that I'm pretty sure almost everyone else in the history of the world wishes they didn't remember. It's interesting. I mean, I do like some 90s music, but the Macarena is not one of those things, so thankfully I'm a perpetual nodder in class. I usually nod whenever any sort of lecture is going on, so I give off the vibe that I'm paying attention whether I am or not. So I have that going for me, and I'm also smart enough to know to keep my trap closed unless A, it is specifically instructed towards me to speak, or I'm 100% confident in my answer. And pretty much nowhere else in between. That means I have to keep my snide remarks to myself, but you know what? I can put up with that for 3 hours a day for 4 days a week. It won't be that bad. Either way, we are almost where we need to be, so we'll have to come to a complete stop because the person in front of us is coming to a complete stop, and he wanted us to do that as well. That was very nice of him. Seriously, I don't get why some people in this town, he actually wasn't that bad, but some people will come to a complete stop on a turn like that before making a turn. See, this is the thing about making a turn. You have to be in motion. You have to move in order to make a turn. You have to move in order to do anything. So, unless it's a light, coming to a complete stop, it doesn't make any sense. Don't do it. You're just going to slow down people behind you and force them to come to a complete stop. Don't do that. It's very obnoxious. Especially for people that actually want to drive the speed limit as opposed to 10 miles an hour below the speed limit. Or 30 above. Take your pick, really. Either way, I'll cut back in with some bowling. I probably won't have any of me in the shot, mostly because it's kind of hard to bowl and hold a camera at the same time, but we'll see. At the very least, we'll have one of my friends in the shot bowling. I will warn you, she's not that great, so, don't be a dick and don't be mean about it. But at the very least, she doesn't use the wimp lanes, so, I figure once you get past the age of about 8, you're no longer allowed to use those, but that's just a personal philosophy. It is fun to bump it around like a pinball, but bowling and pinball are not quite one and the same. Either way, I will see you guys in a bit as this guy speeds up to try and stop me. But I didn't let him. I pulled out in front of him because he sped up to try and stop me. So close. That's true. Apparently.
Are you gonna do a let's play of bowling?
Maybe. I don't know.
It'd be fun. I don't mind. Double bad.
Yeah.
Although last time it's because they went on the wrong footing.
That's one of the better scores I've had thus far. Wait for it to come back on. Not too bad. Let's see if we can do better.
Honestly, if I'm getting good, that's where I'm getting 9.
Yeah, that's not bad. All right, 2 strikes in a row. I've never gotten 3, much less on the 10th frame, even close.
Let's go 3 straight.
Let's see if the Let's Play curse actually will take effect even on a camera. Missed it by that Yeah, that's still pretty good.
You can see what it's like without my glasses. Just for fun.
Oh boy. So close. David Telefair will be proud, but so far, no dice. Final score, round 2. Started really good and then just fell apart in quick succession right there. It was beautiful. So we've been having this problem of whenever I get into the 10th frame and close it and get a second shot, she has to make a first shot that doesn't count for anything, and she got the same 2 pins that are stuck there now. Nope, you're cursed. You're cursed.
Cursed pins, cursed frame.
I mean, that's usually how the 10th frame goes for me, is I almost never close it. Record it again. That got stuck in my hand.
It's the same.
Except it got stuck. Actually, it was 8 last time, not 7. You guys, it's over. We're gonna roll nothing for the rest of the night. It happened again, My Chemical Romance. Why? It was when you were up too, both times. I think you made that shot last time. Yeah, you know. We're in the situation for the 3rd time tonight of me trying to get the 3rd strike in a row. As soon as that lightning bolt goes away. Alright. 3rd time of the 3rd time is the charm, I think.
3 of 3s. Good things come in 3s.
I've done that all 3 times. That's come up every single time. How's it going, everybody? Today is the 19th of June, and holy cow, does it feel like time has just completely flown by. Probably because I've been taking a summer class, and right now I'm headed to do, well, at the end of the class period, because summer classes are 3 hours a day. But I'm headed to go do my second test of either 3 or 4. I'm going to assume 4, because we're only in the 2nd week. And right now it is currently Wednesday, and we only go through Thursday, but I'm going to guess there's probably 4 total. I could be wrong about that, but who knows. I should probably finally get rid of this thing. Yeah, it has long since stopped smelling, and now you have a clear picture of the road, which is what you really and truly wanted. But yeah, summer class has been going well. Apparently a lot of people in my class are not exactly, how do you put this politely? Well-versed, I think is the phrase. Not very well-versed in Spanish. We've got a lot of online assignments that we do per week. Yes, just go ahead and get in the way. I know that's what you're coming here to do. You take that lane, I'll just go past you. Yada, yada, yada. But we've got a lot of online stuff that we have to do per week. But because there's so much, if you screw up on a few and get a poor grade, it doesn't really matter. Like, there's some that you can retry infinitely, and I've just been lazy and be like, yeah, I'll just take a 40 on it, or I'll just take a, you know, a 50 on it, or whatever, anything like that. And yet my average for all the online assignments is still a 93. Yet the class average is at about 77, 78, so with infinite retries on the stuff that's truly hard, I'm not 100% sure what they're doing, but they're not doing it very well. Maybe they're putting it off to the last minute, I don't know. Either way, I thought I'd get some vlogging in to let you guys know that I am still alive, things are going well. I should probably upload a BioShock later today when I get home, if I remember to, but to be honest, it's 1:47, I have to be there at 2, and, yeah, no, that is 1:47, that looked like a 1 on my camera. And to be honest, I'm already exhausted, so hopefully the day will go by pretty fast. I don't know why, but I've just had like next to no energy recently. I've been eating the same and all that stuff, but just energy is shot. Maybe it's just the fact, it says 87, but inside this car it's probably closer to about 97 if I had to guess, with this nice microwave that I'm sitting in currently, but oh well. This car has held through 15 years of driving and is honestly not that bad for a 15-year-old car, so she gets me where she needs to go and she does a good job doing it. And really now it's kind of started to cool down since I've had the AC on. Because thankfully, unlike most people I know, my AC is not broken. Either way, that's really about all. Just letting you guys know that I am alive, working on summer classes and whatnot, so that was why I didn't stream it all last week, because that was the first week of classes and I kind of wanted to get an idea of how much the workload was going to be, but thus far it doesn't seem to be too bad. Pretty much the only category that I've had any difficulty with memorizing has been the category of like all the family terms, like stepbrother, father-in-law, that kind of thing, but I'm not that great at memorizing those and how they correspond to people in the English language, let alone the Spanish language. Because they give you all those weird ones where it's like, oh yeah, it's like your father's stepbrother's mom's uncle twice removed. What is their relationship to you? You're like, I don't know. Even if I did know, I'd probably just call them something else. Jeez. For now, though, I'm going to put this up, and hopefully at some point, kind of soon, I might try to do another basic recipe or something like that. We'll see how it goes, but for now, I shall see you guys in the somewhat distant future, in, like, you know, a couple days probably. Maybe not, depending on how much alive I currently am. I did get food poisoning the other day, which was not fun. But, you know, what are you going to do? The upside to food poisoning is at least it doesn't last for too long. It's just kind of like a 24-hour thing. For now, though, since I'm stuck waiting at this horrendously slow line of one person, I think I shall put this up and start honking at them. Not really, but yeah, I might. It depends. They're going 35 and a 50, so, you know. Ow. But would you look at that? Oh, and it just changed, too. We're on exactly everyone's favorite boy band, 98 Degrees. Well, that's disappointing. Oh, well. It was at 99 when I got in here, but I feel like the AC might have kicked it down a couple of degrees already, but it's not too bad for 5 o'clock in the afternoon, all things considered. It is later in the day after I've taken my test. I feel a lot better, and I don't mean like I was nervous about the test. I just meant I was like tired and groggy and whatnot. Now I feel fine, so whatever, I guess. Still kind of want some iced coffee or something. Maybe that. Well, I probably shouldn't have that with how late it is in the day. I should probably avoid it. I'll try to do that, but no promises. I'm not like a big coffee person usually, and I absolutely detest tea, so you won't have to worry about me drinking that stuff. And I'm not big on Red Bull or anything like that. Been cutting it down to 1 soda a day, so I feel better in that regard. But either way, the test has been taken. It took me all of 12 minutes to finish, and it was not hard whatsoever. It had some numbers in there, which I don't have any difficulty counting in Spanish, but it's like really high numbers. I was expecting stuff like 825,439, because we had done stuff that had gone up into like the 10 million range. But I think the highest number on there was like 4 digits, so it really wasn't that tough at all. So for that, I will be forever grateful. That was the one section I didn't feel 100% confident in going in for the later ones, and I knew I was going to mess up some spellings and whatnot, and then it turns out I didn't even need said spellings for high numbers, so good news for me. There's one problem on there I'm not 100% sure I got, but I mean, there's more than one way to answer it, because you have to put in a question, so there's multiple ways you can ask that question and it can still be correct. So I'm not too terribly worried. I would expect an A. And not due to the fact that I bribe him or nothing. Just from good old-fashioned effort, which is rare for me because usually when it comes to classwork I put in as little effort as possible. Yet I still somehow made the dean's list last semester, not sure how. No offense to anybody that has to work really hard to get a C or whatever, but I didn't try it all last semester and I got a 3.5 GPA, so... If nothing else, that's sticking it to the man being everyone that thinks that because sometimes I don't do that great because I'm more worried about taking care of my family and miss a lot of classes, that I naturally don't do any work at all. Either way, it is time to head back home. Probably muse over dinner. Still probably got like an hour before I'm really gonna start feeling super hungry, but for the time being, I'm good. Alright, are you gonna switch lanes or not? Yeah, that's what I thought. You are gonna switch lanes. Everybody's getting in the way. They must be so proud of themselves. And now we'll switch over and have the lane to ourselves. It is a very nice day, despite the fact it's kind of warm. I actually love the heat, so this doesn't bother me at all. But, yeah, class was nice enough. I got to impress my professor when he'll do like a hot potato-esque thing for who has to answer questions. And he was very impressed to watch me catch the ball left-handed, not knowing that I'm left-handed. Because I kind of just grabbed it out of the air, because it wasn't that great of a throw, because it's kind of wonky in its aerodynamics. It's one of those like weird little squeeze ball things, except it didn't have a lot of air left in it, so sometimes it won't fly very far, just depending on what it decides to do. So made a pretty incredible catch with what he thought was my non-dominant hand, so I'll bet on paper it probably did look pretty impressive, but no. It's just the joys / curses of being left-handed, because trust me, there are curses out there. Believe everything you read on the internet, kids, including this show. Don't actually do that. Speaking of believing, I can believe this is happening. They're spread out. They're always spread out just far enough to where you can't get between them. It's very obnoxious. Or I guess among. Well, no, between. Because you're going between two cars. There's multiple cars. So yeah, it's between. Hooray for being a stickler for grammar and all that stuff. That might be why I do decently well in Spanish, is because I really like English. Just like learning about English, not English language. It's broken beyond all recognition for anybody that's done your additional languages, you know that. Whereas everything else usually stays in a pretty good order. English does not do that at all. But either way, we're home. Hooray! Now to go inside, upload some Bioshock, figure out dinner, and see what everybody else has not been up to, because nobody's car has moved from the parking lot all day. And you wonder why I'm the breadwinner of the family. Yikes. Alright, see you guys in a little bit. It's a little bit of the aftermath of what I showed a few days ago, in case you were wondering. Yes, that was hail from here, and yes, it was about 90 degrees an hour prior. It was a bit of a mess. So I figured I'd show that. And for now, I've got to head to class, so we'll keep it nice and short. Ta-da! We are almost through June, guys, and it's been a bit interesting. You've seen some of the weather going on when it's about 90 degrees and hailing, like, violently. Yeah, I've seen a lot of weird stuff here, but that's a new one to me. Either way, since it's about 100 outside, I went and got some frozen yogurt, and it is rather quite nice. Some chocolate on the top, and then there's some coconut beneath that, and although you can't see it, you can take my word for it in the fact that there's some mango at the bottom. So the coconut forms a nice shield where coconut and chocolate work well, and coconut and mango do, but chocolate and mango not so much, so it forms a nice protective shield while it is still in its non-liquid form. In addition, if you've not tried these little things before, I highly recommend you do. They're used in like bubble tea and a bunch of other stuff. They look like fish eggs, but what they actually are little spheres that have different flavors in them. In this case, they're strawberry, and when you bite into them, the little outside bubble part of it breaks. There we go. There's a better shot of one. The outside bubble part breaks, and it's just like a little burst of flavor. They're used in smoothies. You can put them in frozen yogurt. They're quite good, so I very much approve of them. Strawberry. Yep, definitely strawberry. Couldn't remember. Hey, I wasn't trying to click on that. But what I am trying to show you is A, the face recognition is going off on Elizabeth there, so that's nice. I'm glad that's a thing. But as you can tell, after I zoom in, we're in episode 30 of BioShock Infinite, and believe it or not, I'm going to move it right to the center of the screen here. Episode 31 is the finale. So, probably sometime this week, well, this will be up after, but I can safely say by the end of this month, BioShock Infinite will be, at least for the main story, will be complete, which is a little hard to believe, but yeah, it will actually be done. If I'm gonna do any of the DLC stuff, I'm kind of talked about that in the finale episode, so like, we'll see on that, but at the very least, the main story has been completed, so that's always a plus. Right, in the meantime, I'm gonna eat this before it melts, because it's been quite nice. I've had some of the chocolate off the top so far, and it's been lovely, so I will see you guys probably in, next, in coming days. We'll just say that. In the coming days. Probably on stream more likely than anything, but we shall see. Well, that's where he got sprayed one time before.
No. Jesse, I think. Jesse and Dad.
Well, at least Caitlin will get a kick out of this.
Oh, will you tell it? I don't think you could figure out a way to get up there. What are you going to do once you get it?
Probably nothing. I'm sure it's full of diseases.
Yeah, I'm sure it is too. Rabies, who knows?
I think it's probably not as bad as like a bird, but it's probably close. He looks adorable right where he is, i.e. not that close to us where he can get all those things transferred to us.
And don't scare it so much that it falls, because if it falls in our yard, it's going to be a disaster.
Yeah, please don't kill it. It didn't do anything to you. And if it does eat bugs, then it's welcome around here.
Well, for crying out loud, I did not...
Oh, I'll bet if she gets up to that higher one, he's gonna run, obviously.
Down.
He may be blind, but he's not stupid.
You know you can do that, you goober.
I mean, she can get up on the bed, so it's not that surprising she'd get up there.
I know, but he doesn't want you or need you.
It really doesn't want you.
Come on, leave it alone. Goodness.
I've never seen one of these before in like our yard or area.
We've had several. We had it in Georgetown, and we've had a couple out here. Dad's just picked them up by the tail and thrown them over the fence.
No, poor things.
Harmless, other than claws and teeth.
Oh, yeah.
Even then, they tend to be mild-mannered. So, and most of the time, they'll hold up during the day and let them out at night. I get this one
I mean,
not old enough or smart enough yet to
Yeah.
hold it up. Hope, come on, leave it alone. Hope. Puppy, 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 come on.
Well, now we got her attention.
How she doesn't run into anything, I will never know. Oh Lord, there she goes to the possum.
You think you've tortured that poor thing enough? It's probably already terrified and has no clue what's going on. It pretty much has not moved.
I don't think it has either. Except for to turn in that direction.
That's about it.
Missed all the fun.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. The final day of the first half of this year. It's hard to believe it has already come and gone, but yep, there it is, 6:30. After today, it'll be the second half of the year, which is moderately horrifying, but I have something else to show you guys on top of the video of the possum, which was kind of cool. After quite a bit of work this morning, and I was going to wait to actually show At least the fact that I had done one until it quieted down, but I've been waiting for about 3 hours, and quite frankly, I'm not going to wait any longer, because let's face it, if after 3 hours nobody can keep quiet, it's probably not going to happen. But yes, I did work on actually doing a raid message, or a getting raided message, rather, for Twitch. So when anybody raids my channel from now on, you will actually get to see that video / short film / whatever. It is exactly 54 seconds long, and I'll show a little bit of it, but before I do, because I do want to also show this off, normally I keep my desktop pretty clean. You guys have seen it in past vlogs. Keep in mind, this is a 54-second clip. This is now what my desktop looks like after saving stuff to it. It is completely filled, and it actually filled exactly up with like all the additional slots, for each little segment. It was exactly enough to get this done. Exactly enough, which is absolutely hilarious. So I'll play like the first, I don't know, we'll say 10 seconds of this clip, roughly. Which is not going to give you a good idea of the full thing, but if you want to see the full thing, you could tune into my streams and potentially either raid me or catch it by somebody else raiding me. And I think we'll leave it there for now. I actually gave you guys 25 seconds. That's about half the footage, but of course there's still more stuff than that. So hopefully that will give you some inclination to tune in. It's not exactly that great. I only worked on it for about, I'd say 4 hours, but I worked on it intensely for an hour, and then I had to keep stopping and starting and stopping and starting. Due to the fact that, unfortunately with editing stuff like sound effects, you can't really do that while listening to your own music, which you need when it's loud, so I kind of had to just start and stop as the sound either went up or down, so it took a lot longer than expected. Either way, thank you all for joining me, and we'll see you sometime soon, I would assume at the latest, the 4th of July, because of course there's going to be stuff going off for that. But I will see you guys for the lovely month of July. Till then, guys, take care.